All right, thank you for staying with the Monday Report. There's so many questions coming through. Let's pause some of them on video to the professor. Let's put them up.
Is a Ghost or Babazuri, a student leader in the University of Nairobi, and I want to ask our very own Vice Chancellor this question. Does he really care about us? We are hustlers. We are trying to make ends meet. Some of us, we work day and night so that we can get the mere school fees. How does he dare double it? Honestly, for God's sake, do you really feel us? We give him not even 48, now it is 45 hours to tell us what we want to hear, not what he and his people wants to hear.
All right. Prof, if these reforms were not taken, what's the worst that could happen? You can hear the way people are saying they're hustlers, they're in pain, they don't get the countries the money. Do you feel their pain?
You know, Trevor, I said, if you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Because then if you continue digging, you just disappear. You continue just complaining and shouting and shouting and shouting, and finally even people will not hear you to rescue you. So University of Nairobi is actually 50 years old now. So we have decided we must pause and see what is it we have done well and what is it we need to fine-tune moving forward. And we have said, if we continue living the way we have been living now, we will follow the way of other organizations that have failed in this country. And it's like ticks. You go, you are there on the cow, you continue sucking blood until finally the cow drops dead. So you also disappear.
Yeah.
How does that help anyone? No. You have said you are responsible people.
Yeah.
Let us do like perhaps just instead of sucking blood like the ticks and all that and delivering other parasites, why don't we just do little milking?
Yeah.
And we feed the cow, yeah? And we ensure that we can take this milk for now.
Yeah.
And other people come and they also take the milk from the same cow, so long as they continue feeding it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we don't want to fail. And there are other things. I think when I was growing up here, there were things like Kenya Bus Service. Where is it now? Yeah. The other time we were buying things from Uchumi and all that. Big corporations. And they can fail. And I have shared this with some of the students. That we, as the people who are there now, we cannot allow University of Nairobi to fail. That you'll be saying one time, that somebody to be saying you studied at University of Nairobi, but does not exist. It disappeared. No. We must do whatever it takes now.
Yeah.
Some little sacrifice to ensure that we sustain University of Nairobi. When we get services from it, let us pay for those services.
Okay.
But the students who are there now, as I said, because I had one of my students saying that they are suffering. No, we are not going to increase fees for them. No. That one I said, no. We are the one who invited that student. Like he has said, we are not going to increase fees for that student. He is going to study.
Okay.
And they finish with us. Yes.
So this only applies to new students?
Only a new student who will negotiate with if you want to come to study with us.
Yeah. Aren't you concerned, though, that most students will then shun the University of Nairobi because it is too expensive?
The issue is, would you like a situation where we invite a student to train and then we don't have material to train them so that it is cheaper? No, us, we are responsible. So that when we charge you fees, we are also able to offer the service that we promised you.
Okay.
So it is not about you coming so that we passage you through the university without getting what you require.
Okay.
University of Nairobi, those who come there get the best. That's why the university has continued to borrow to ensure that it maintains a standard.
Okay.
But we are saying, for how long can we borrow? Okay. Borrow from KRI, borrow from pension, borrow from banks, for how long? Yeah.
Okay.
We will just collapse, yeah.
All right.
Trevor.
Let's bring in other questions that are coming through on video. Let's read what you're saying.
Yeah.
As lower Kabete students, as from last year March, we have not been having physical learning. Like, we want the explanation why we are not getting back to school up to date. We should go back to school to utilize the library materials and the ICT materials. The VC should tell us why we are not going back to school up to now.
Prof, why have we not resumed physical learning? Because Dr. Maloba also mentioned this.
Yes, you know, the way our university is, students, we are only able to accommodate like about 10,000, 9,000 students. The University of Nairobi is 55, 60,000 students. So you can imagine most of the students stay in all parts of Nairobi. So they will be coming to school with the matatus, with buses, and all this kind of thing. So when they come from there, they come and mingle with other students and with the staff. So we have to be a little responsible, so that we ensure that both the staff and the student are protected, given our population. So because you are coming from all part of Nairobi, when you come, there is likely to be one person. You know, initially when this COVID-19 came, we lost a number of staff. In the first wave, in the second wave, in the third wave, we lost staff. We had to take stock. I can say we have been a very, very responsible institution. We have ensured that our students have continued with their teaching and learning, obviously under the circumstance. And I explained even earlier that we need to continuously adopt this new normal. In that, you know, people are only familiar with this class where you enter through a door, and then you can look through a window and open a door. Now we are talking about a classroom, which is virtual, but it's still a classroom anyway. But they are still looking for that classroom with a door. We know that there is some value of also students coming and interacting. So we have invited actually students in medicine, in engineering, which we can be able to accommodate. But progressively, we will also invite those others from business school and the arts, etc. So it is not like we have forgotten them. But it is only that we care. And you know, our staff, we have very many very senior staff who are over 58 years. And we have to protect them. Many people who come to the University of Nairobi say they find the best teachers. But it is people who have cured over time. We don't want to lose any of them through this kind of thing. But we are conscious about what the students say, and we continue to engage them, to interact with them, to see how we can bring them in phases. For now, I think we are just at the point of doing exams. When we open the new year, we are going to see which cohort come.
Are you giving this a time frame? Because the new normal, like you mentioned, is here with us for a long time. We don't know. And I'm still curious about the numbers. So you're saying if you were to stick to the COVID-19 regulations, you'd have to have about 10,000. But you have more than 60,000.
We can only accommodate only 10,000 in the university at a time. So those ones you can say, oh, you keep them in this room, you treat them like this. But now there are these other 40,000 who are coming from all over and coming and mingling with this 10, you know. So you have to regulate. And it's not like there are many of the universities which are outside the Nairobi. Here you go to, some are going to Gumo, others are going to Buruburu, others are going to Karen, others are going to this other place, different places. And they are coming with the public transport.
So let's go back to that governance reforms. And will you be giving send-off packages to those who have been affected?
We have decided we work with everyone. We are not going to lose any of the staff. Some of them we will perhaps maybe designate them to various responsibilities, and they continue with the package of how they were being paid without changing their pay.
So you're not firing anyone?
No, we are not firing anyone. Because you see, I said some of the reforms we have, one of them is the people reform. So we need to work with everybody even as we do this reform. We are not firing anyone. Yes.
You're just cutting down those...
We are just cutting out on those redundancies because so that when people retire, we don't need to replace them. Or when people exit for different reasons, we don't need to replace them. We continue to align those staff that we have to our core mandate that we don't keep staff into places where there's no common date, where they're doing repeat jobs. Yeah.
So essentially they're going to be redeployed.
Redeployed, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how long do you think this is going to take?
Oh, this one is going to be progressive. Whole of today, I started off very early.
Yeah.
To begin to say this one go here, this one go here, and also consulting with the other members of council. And tomorrow, by the end of the week, we have probably completed. We want to ensure that all staff, there should be no anxiety. There is no sacking of anyone. Yeah?
Okay.
What we are going to do is only to deploy to ensure that our common dates are well supported. That is teaching and learning, as well as research and community service.
Okay.
Yes.
On the people reforms,
yes.
What happens to students who have been expelled for one reason or another?
That, Trevor, is one of the things I considered when I came early last year. And I found we have so many students who are expelled. Some of them could not go home. They're just hanging around the hostels, main campus. Because what do they go home and tell their parents? You were admitted, you had this A material.
Yeah.
You came to university, you probably smoked bang, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bad thing. Or you beat up another student, or you did this, or you cheated in an exam. All bad things. Yeah?
Yeah.
But you say, look, these are our children. We have a responsibility to mold them, so that they can go back and serve the communities where they came from. And these are good brains.
Yeah.
We can nurture them. So I said, no, if you are ready to reform and stop that behavior, we will admit you, and even if you not tell the other student what you had done, you come to class and you just study.
Okay.
And we will not pronounce, you just send your letter. If you tell us this and this and this, I'm ready myself to come. We just, even we will not call on you to invite you to ask you questions and all this kind of thing. Why did you do those things? You come and study. And we have had many who have come back.
So essentially you're saying, Prof, right now, if someone was expelled and is watching this show, all they need to do is write a letter?
Only write a letter, and we have a committee dealing with that. They write a letter, there's a form you fill. You have some two people to recommend that is true, they know you, and you have reformed. Then you just come back.
That is akin to pardoning.
Yes, it's pardoning. Actually, we call it a pardon committee.
Okay.
Pardon advisory committee.
Okay.
Because they pardon and they advise the vice chancellor. They say this one, this one, this one. And when they recommend, we just say, you come back.
Okay.
Yeah. And we don't call you to find out why did you do this, why did you... No. This we want to model them. We know there are people who are even now serving in very senior leadership positions who are expelled from the university. They went to Dar es Salaam or other universities and they studied. Why can't we ourselves have them study here? Yeah.
Okay.
And they are doing very well. Actually, I have not found any of those we admitted being mentioned for anything.
Okay. So all they need to do is write a letter and they'll be pardoned.
Yeah, they are pardoned.
It's still on the people reforms. You want to institute a culture of caring and adding value to staff.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Oh, you know, we have said, look, this, if you have fire, you can choose to add some dry pieces. When you add dry pieces, the flame comes up. And everybody receives the warmth who is seated there. Okay? But you can still choose in the same fire and put a wet piece of wood. What would happen? That would start smoking. Everybody near there would start sneezing, you know. So we are saying, myself and anybody else in the University of Nairobi, let us ensure that we put dry pieces and the fire flares up and warms up everybody, so that when you go somewhere, you say you are from University of Nairobi, people know that is where people behave well. But if it is somebody who was stoning cars that were passing in Uhuru Highway, that is not adding value to each other. The minute you say, oh, you are the people who stone cars, you see that kind of thing. Even someone who needed to consider you for a job, you have to think twice. Or maybe keep somebody to monitor you first, whether that behavior he saw is the same one. So we are saying, no, we know we have our differences. Let us express them between ourselves, but let us ensure that when we do things, everybody says University of Nairobi people are like this.
Okay. What about the lecturers on contract? Will their contracts be renewed?
You know, lecturers, we hire lecturers as tutorial fellows. I was also hired at that time also as a senior lecturer, those days when you came in on contract. Then you proceed, you do your master's, you do your PhD, or sometimes you come with your master's, you do your PhD, and you progress like that with publications. That will continue. You will not go because of this. If you are continuing to study, to do your master's, to do your PhD and publish and move on, no. We need, those are the people we need to mentor young people. There is nobody who is going to be sacked for that. Yeah.
Okay. Now there's another issue here in terms of there have been allegations of missing marks or lecturers coercing students into other demands before results are released. How do you intend to deal with this?
You see, we have had that problem of you hear people, they have missing marks or this kind of thing. We are saying no. We don't want that. We want to improve services to our students. Yeah. Even these reforms, the focus is part of that people reform. We must care. We must show care to our students. Yeah. That is part of the people reform. So, and that's why we are saying we need accountability. When the dean gets the results with the head of the department and they approve them, they must have a system of they then release them.
Yeah.
If any student has a problem, they know where to go. There are not too many offices. Yeah. And we are also coming up with the developing software online where lecturers post their marks when the student, so that we know who did not post the marks, which they marked. So we are so that there is accountability. Even when you are talking about accountability is not only about money, it's only about that marks. When the student misses and then is taken allowed to this office, and after that you are taken to that office, you are taken to that office.
Yeah.
No, we need to know it is Kiama. It is Trevor who did not give the marks.
Okay.
Then obviously, that does not mean you are showing value for care.
Okay.
Which is value for University of Nairobi. We have to ask you why you did that.
All right. Yes. Prof, I'll give you a chance to give closing remarks on why these reforms are necessary. Let me read it very quick. Kisiangani Ken says, Professor has a point with the interview. VC is right to reform the institution. No one will be fired. Musa Roni says, ask the VC why we learn online throughout the semester and yet most of the students are in school. This actually happens in School of Business and you've already explained that. Peter Ojiambo says, there is nothing in the University Act 2012 that talks about the differential cost implemented by the Council, UN. In any case, there was only proposals that were never ratified through regulations. And Tony Manyara says, doubling of fees and abolishment of the VCs, deputy VCs positions, altercation of the university campus structure and other adjustments are needed to be proper and timely consultation also has to be done to avoid lethargy. John says, I'm wondering how UN school fees reforms contribute towards the global goal of universal access to affordable and quality education. And so Peter Ndaba says, UN has a bloated and inefficient workforce. The institution has been dependent on Module 2 students and this is not sustainable in the long run. Prof, closing remarks from you because we've run out of time. Why these reforms are really necessary and how you're going to ensure that nobody's adversely affected, so to speak.
These reforms are necessary to ensure that the University of Nairobi is sustainable, is relevant, and is vibrant. University of Nairobi ranks the highest in this country. In Africa, it ranks also top 10. In the world also ranks very well. If you leave this university and you go to any university in UK or US, you say you are from University of Nairobi, everybody knows that you came from a university. What we cannot afford is the way I have seen now. Because world-class university is measured by the issue of the concentration of talents, the resources that you have.
Yeah.
If we decline on those aspects, we'll just get out of the ladder.
Okay.
And where will be the country? So we cannot allow. University of Nairobi must reform, must be resilient to adjust to the changing environment.
Okay.
Because as the environment keeps changing, we must change with it. If we don't change with it, we become a dinosaur.
Okay.
We will just disappear.
Okay.
And the University of Nairobi, for us who are there, we must ensure it changes with the environment. and it shines,
yeah,
and becomes better and better into the future.
All right. Prof, thank you so much for making time. Professor Stephen Kiama, Vice Chancellor at the University of Nairobi, says the reforms are necessary. Nobody's losing their job. It will just be redeployment, like he mentioned. All the students who are still there, your fees will not increase. It's only for the students who are coming in. All right. I hope that is clear and understood. And he's mentioned also all the students who've been expelled out there. All you need to do is reach out to the pardon board by writing a letter and confirming that you're good to come back, and you will be given a fair chance. All right, that does it for now. My name is Trevor Mbidi. It's always a pleasure having you with us on behalf of the entire team that made this possible. I want to say thank you and good night. We'll see you again next Monday. Bye for now.